What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mo.J and we are locked in. Now, this is For Life episode 9, and we know a lot of stuff has been going on. RIP to Andy, he got shot outside the bodega. So we got to figure out how we going to get justice for him and his family. But before we get into all that, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel and want to be a part of this, hit your subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Wait a minute. Let's hit that like button. Let's get a little bit of engagement in here. Now, we know Aaron is about to do his thing. That's one thing we know about Aaron. He's never going to give up on anybody. So let's figure out what we're going to do. You know me, I'm not going to hold you up. Let's jump into it. This is For Life episode 9. We all know the bodega owner's been having a tough time. Now, first he told Aaron that the security footage was deleted. You know, there was no security footage. The outside cameras weren't working. Now they actually convinced him to give him the stuff, the actual footage. But he gets arrested by the cops because if you remember, the cops are trying to get him to not turn over this footage because it'll contradict their whole story. So what they did was they arrested him for selling liquor to an underage girl. And he starts to tell Aaron and Sophia that, look, y'all knew that the cops were going to come for me. And Aaron says, listen, no one told you to sell alcohol to a girl that's underage. You brought that on yourself, but you still need to help us. And what we're going to do is we'll get you a lawyer that's going to do a pro bono for you. But you have to give us the security footage from the inside to corroborate our story. The owner, he's iffy about it because he's in jail, but he knows if he gives the police the tape and gets rid of it, then he'll be able to get out of jail and they won't bother him no more. We met Veronica, and we know she's a bad lady. Henry told us that. She's going to be grilling. She's going to figure out everything that's going on. Now, they bring in the lieutenant, and they ask him what happened out there. And he starts off by saying, oh, anything to help my boy Eddie out. And he just says, it was standard procedure. I went in, talked to the owner. You know, normal way you question a witness. And the witness told me that the cameras weren't working outside. So she's saying, is this all that happened? Yeah, nothing more than that. So it was just pretty much standard procedure. What the cops are doing here, they're trying to cover for each other. We know Lieutenant, he had a couple of complaints about him. Eddie had a couple of complaints. So they're trying to cover for each other, which normal cops always do this. Henry and Eddie rewatched the surveillance footage, and you can see that the lieutenant's coming over talking to Eddie after all this time, and he's pretty much telling him, hey, you need to do this. This part of the story is going to be this. So they're corroborating the story, so everyone's on the same path whenever they get questioned about this. But if you remember, the shooter never got questioned. He got sent home because that's standard procedure. So no one ever questioned him about it. He went directly home, and then this is where we see, okay, he went into the shop store. We need to figure out exactly what did he say to the shop owner. Now this leads our defense team into figuring out why did they lie and change the story. But it's going to go with what they're trying to aim at. We have footage of the lieutenant telling Eddie what to do. But if we can get Marcellus, Andy's son, to go ahead and give us another statement, this time on camera, saying that his dad got pulled over for a U-turn and not on the phone, it would show that their whole story is contradicting, saying we pulled him over for being on the phone when they really just put him over for a legal U-turn. We know how this goes in politics and in everyday life. The media is talking to both sides, Aaron's side and the police side, but the police are sending out, subliminals, false information, talking about we have an ex-warden, a drunk, and a convict. They don't have any experience. They trying to discredit Aaron in the public eye. So when it comes to trial, people see it, we don't believe them. And also it says that it's throwing Aaron up under the bus, saying since they took on this case, they just got rid of the collars for dollars. All that's thrown away. Trying to discredit Aaron overall, saying, he just jumps from case to case. He doesn't know what he's doing. We see this all the time, especially when it comes to black people and something happening with the police officers. They're giving prank calls to Aaron's house. They're calling, hey, Aaron, you're going to die. Get out of here. They're calling his cell phone. So right now, he's just like, man, it's a lot of stress on his head. He also gets a call from Henry, and he asks, Henry, are you getting the same thing? Henry's like, oh, yeah, I'm getting them. Don't worry about him, brother. But you can tell this case is going to be very, very serious because they're trying to bring down these cops. But these cops are trying to look out for each other. So they're going to do everything that they have in their power to try to stop Aaron and deter him from going on with this case. The head DA, he comes and stops by to talk to Veronica about her taking this case. And what he's telling her is, if you want to make it in this politics, you shouldn't just be aiming at this case. You need to tread lightly on this case, because if you take it and you lose it, it's going to stop you from going further. And what he's saying is going further to make it to DC and just move up the ranks in politics. You start off as an attorney, and then you move your way on up, and you can make your way. But Veronica says, look, I'm going to do my job the right way, and I'm going to go ahead and move forward with this case, and I'm going to defend it. But what the man is telling her is, hey, be careful, because it's a look bad. A black woman on this side going against the black people for an unarmed man. But Veronica's not worried about that. She's worried about finding out the truth. Aaron needs more proof, and he needs actual testimony from Andy's son, Marcellus, about what happened that night that he got arrested. When Aaron gets over there, you have all the media out there. Hey, Aaron, what are you doing? What is something going on here? Why'd you drop dollars for collars? But Aaron, he's getting frustrated, telling, hey, get off the property, stop harassing her. When he goes and talks to Andy's wife about Marcellus, she's telling him, I don't want to bring this up with my son. He's crying about this. He's having nightmares about it. Why didn't you get this information from him earlier, the first time you asked him? She doesn't want her son to keep reliving this in his head. Now, Aaron, I got to pretty much play a father figure to Marcellus, but I got to try to get this information from him to help the case and help get justice for his dad. Once he gets back to the office, his daughter's in there and the assistant's in there. But what they did was they recorded Ronnie. We remember Ronnie got arrested for protesting, Black Lives Matter. And he got arrested for asking the cops for help because he's saying, hey, this person has a brick and they're about to break it. But he was wrongfully arrested. Now, they interviewed him and they were going to put it on the website. Aaron comes in and sees it and said, oh, whoa, stop that. Because if he puts this on here and people start seeing this, they're going to be on him even more than what they are now. It's just going to drag him in. And he tells them, hey, take this off the website. This isn't a good look for Ronnie. We know Henry has some inside connections. So what he does is he meets up with a man. He's asking him, listen, we know all these complaints. They're starting to be buried. Is there any way you can reach out to somebody and uncover these and hand them to me? And he's telling Henry, look, I helped you out on the collars for dollars. Now what you're doing, this is way bigger than me. But I have a feeling that he will end up helping Henry because, at the end of the day, doing the right thing, for most, they're going to do it. Henry and Aaron come up with a plan. The way that they're going to get the lieutenant to flip is to make them think that they have more information than what they have. Now, what we do know, they do have the outside footage. They know the lieutenant went indoors, but they don't have that footage because the bodega owner hasn't given it up. So once they meet with the lieutenant's lawyer, they say, we see the lieutenant out here talking to Eddie and corroborating, telling them this is what his story is going to be. We don't know what happened on the inside, but they think they're making it seem like they do have that information. Now, the lawyer sees this, and Henry tells him, you're obligated to tell your client about this. And he's saying, so wait, if he just pleads guilty to coming up with a story and throw Eddie up under the bus, he can get out of here? He's going to consider that. Aaron's on the way home. He's talking to his daughter and Ronnie about the footage that they recorded. And Ronnie's telling him, oh, I'm all right with it. I understand what it is. And Aaron's saying, all right, well, listen, we need to actually sit down and talk about it. While this is going on, Aaron gets pulled over. These cops come up, and you already know, Aaron's high profile now, they're going to be following him. So they tell him to get off the phone, and he hangs up on his daughter, but she's calling back. When she calls back, Aaron tries to turn it off, and the cops are saying, we didn't tell you to do that. Give us your registration. And he's like, hey, all right, let me get out the glove box. But they just end up holding Aaron here for 2 hours because that's what they do. They just messing with him, trying to get him to fold. But the real thing they stopped him for is to try to get him to break curfew so he'd actually be in a violation of his probation. Aaron's PO pulls up because Aaron tells him, hey man, I was pulled over by the cops in this area. But the PO, we already know how he is. He's kind of trying to lean towards being on Aaron's side now because he's seeing things, but at the same time, he's still a cop. So Aaron says, yeah, they stopped me for 2 hours. What the PO says, I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna see who pulled you over there. But it turns out there's no record of them stopping Aaron. They were just holding him and messing with him. We know Henry has a connection, and we also know how the media manipulates people. So Henry gets a call from one of his reporters. He's been trying to call the DA all night, but they won't answer the phone because it's about 1 a.m. But the reporter calls and she tells him, hey, listen, we're gonna go ahead and publish this article. Do you want to have a comment on it? And Henry's telling her, why would you do this? Work with us. But the reporter's job is to get the news out. And she tells him, if I don't report this, somebody else will. But at least if you get it from me, you can go ahead and give us give us the answer for what I'm asking and put yourself ahead of it. So when it gets released, you already have a comment out for it. But Henry's like, I don't know about that. I'm not going to do that. So she's going to put this report out on her own. Aaron's having a hard time with all this, man. It's just a lot of pressure on his back. And it's like, oh man, it's non-stop. So he tells Marie, look, I feel like I'm over my head. When I was taking these cases in prison, I could play it out and I could see what was going to happen. But this, it's just something different every single day. Now, Marie's just telling them, she's being supportive. Hey, we didn't hear from you for a long time, but I still had trust in you. I knew you were going to do the right thing. So don't be overwhelmed about this. The reason you watch that footage of Andy getting killed every night is because you know that he's calling for you to help him out. That's what this is. So don't overthink it and just be calm and do your best to get this case done. But this is your calling to get justice for Andy and his family. Veronica actually shows up to the crime scene. She's trying to do a little bit of investigation for herself. She wants to look and, okay, this is here, there's the cameras. She's telling the photographer that's with her, hey, get the cameras and stuff, because she needs evidence for her side of the case also. But while she's out there, another black lady comes up, somebody that's just from the community, and says, I seen you before. You're the lady that's working with the cops. Some shame. Now, we see this a lot with black people. Whenever a black person works with the other side, they always say, oh man, you shouldn't be doing that. At the same time, this lady has to, pay her bills. And if that is representing the bad side, sometimes people do that. But at the end of the day, hey, I got to put food on my kid's table. Aaron finally goes back and gets actual video footage of Marcellus saying, oh, I was riding with my dad and they said he got pulled over for a U-turn because I was in the back seat with the cell phone because I was watching a cartoon. Now they show this to the lieutenant's lawyer and they're saying, oh, well, you may have forced this kid to do this. But Aaron is saying, no, we didn't do this. This is the truth. And that's why your reports have changed from the first time that he got arrested and then to where it is now. So what they're trying to tell the lawyer is, look, if he goes ahead and says that Eddie shot this guy, then he'll be cleared for the most part. All this trouble won't come down on the lieutenant. Now, this is where the lieutenant has to decide. Do I go ahead and snitch on my partner, one of the most respected persons in the precinct, or do I stand tall with the police and potentially go to court and be found guilty of being an accessory to this? Then they show Lieutenant Diaz telling them, hey, this is what the story is going to be. This is what we're going to say. Do what I say. So it's just looking like self-incrimination. When you see this footage, you're like, oh man, I'm going to have to tell on Eddie. If not, then I'm going down with him. And ain't nobody trying to go to jail for something they ain't do. The lieutenant's lawyer shows up to talk to Veronica because they're working together. And to sum up what he's went in there and said is, listen, there's footage on the inside of that bodega. But if we can get this footage to come up missing, Aaron's whole case is going to be done. Without this, there's no way to link all of this together. So he's pretty much insinuating that we need to get the footage from the bodega owner and get rid of it. And then we're good to go. After that, there's nothing Aaron can do about it. Sophia shows up to the bodega to talk to the owner. Hey, we need that footage from the inside. Now, if the cops told you to delete it, then you're going to be in trouble for getting rid of the evidence also. What he starts to explain is, man, I got cops up here harassing me for some footage. I got people protesting from the other side, calling me snitches and stuff. And for him, it's just a lot of stress. Now, Sophia gives him some information that she shouldn't be giving to him, but it benefits both sides. She said, look, if you give me the footage from the inside, we can use this in the case. But if you go visit your brother back over in the Middle East, then you won't be here to corroborate the story and say that this is verified footage, and we can go ahead and do the trial without you. You just need to be gone for a couple weeks so the trial can go on, we can use the footage, and once it's done, you can come back and live your normal life. So he's like, that just a couple weeks? I'll do that. Sophia actually gets the inside footage, and what she shows is the lieutenant came in and asked the owner for the footage. He gave the footage on a flash drive to the cop. What the cop didn't know is that the footage wasn't just saved on that little external flash drive, it's actually saved onto another hard drive on the server. So this is how they get the footage, and it shows the lieutenant coming in, getting the footage, and now the cops really think all that evidence is gone, but it's not. So Aaron, he's like, what did Henry have to say about this? I haven't heard from him. But it turns out the sister says, oh, Henry, I had to be honest, he's at the house and he might be back on like drinking. So now we got to figure out what's going on with Henry, because he's getting frustrated with this case too. The reason Henry started drinking and going into the liquor store trying to find something that he can just drink and booze with, because he tells Aaron he feels like he's the reason Andy got shot, just because of all the things that Henry has done and the reason he got in trouble. But Aaron's trying to explain to him, you may have did that, you made that mistake, but what are you going to do now to fix that? Come back on this case, get focused, put the liquor down, and let's get this thing right. This is clear your name, and we can also get justice for Andy. Things are starting to get real. Now, the PO calls Aaron and tells him, yeah, there's no information on you getting pulled over or anything. And Aaron is telling him, hey, well, it's either you take my word for it, but I'm telling you, they stopped me. And with this going on, Aaron, being the protector that he is, he tells Marie, her and Jasmine, look, y'all can't stay here. Y'all gonna have to stay away from me until the trial is over. The reason he's doing this is because people are harassing the house, prank calling the house. They're doing all kinds of nonsense and just messing with his family. So he wants his family to be protected and away from all the nonsense. Veronica comes and talks to Aaron, and she's trying to plead her case as, look, we get him to plead guilty to manslaughter, and it'd only be 1 year. And Aaron's trying to say, 1 year? That's it? No, we don't want that. He shot an unarmed man in his back. And Veronica says, oh, he panicked. Panicking does not equate to shooting somebody in the back. Panic, okay, maybe you grab him and say, hey, get your hand out the car, but you don't just shoot a man in the back. And Aaron, he's not with that. A year of manslaughter? Nah, we need more than that. They bring the lieutenant in with his lawyer, and they start telling him, look, we know what happened. We need you to actually come forward and tell us what happened, because if you do this, it's going to clear your name. But the lieutenant, he's rolled with Eddie for freaking years, and he's never said anything. He knows these complaints were brought up. He never asked for a change of a partner or anything. So it's making him look like, oh, you just been rolling with him doing all kinds of dirt. So we're going to bring you down with that. And Sophie tells Aaron, oh man, he's not gonna cooperate with us because he doesn't want to turn his back on the police station and be outcasted from them. Aaron, they do their job. They end up indicting the lieutenant for being an accessory because all the footages came out, and hey, it's either you work with us or you don't. And if you don't work with us, we're gonna have to indict you, and we're gonna have to bring up these criminal charges. Now, Aaron, he goes on the stand and he starts talking to the media. First thing he does is try to say, listen, everyone discredited my team, but my team, Henry and Sophie and myself, we know exactly what we're doing. We're here to work and we're serious. So don't try to discredit us in the eye of the public to make people turn against us, because we are here to help the people. Now that all this is going down, they put security guards, well, not security guards, they put police officers in front of Aaron's house to watch it, because they show that the house is all tagged up, talking about, oh, you hate cops, all kinds of stuff. You know how it is, the Blue Lives Matter people. They over here terrorizing his house. When he gets there, he sees Marie outside and she's wiping down things. He's saying, what are you doing here? And she tells him, oh, I'm going to support you. While you were locked up, I kind of lost faith in you, but now I'm here for you. I'm supporting you. I'm your wife. I'm going to be here. And for Aaron, that's really warming, that him and his wife, we know they had a little difference when he first got out, but now they're coming together and they're showing that family bond. All right, there you go, episode 9. What do you think about this? Do you think Aaron and the ex-warden, ex-alcoholic, and the ex-convict, do you think that this is the dream team, the new dream team? Let me know what y'all think below. But hey, that was episode 9 of For Life. Thanks for watching. I'm J. If you like the content on the channel, hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit that like button. Tune in for next week, episode 10. This is For Life. I'm J, and I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.